How Trump would attack Iran. F-35s, aircraft carriers, B-2 stealth bombers, and more. Submarine or ship-launched Tomahawk missiles could explode targets from hundreds of miles away. B-2 stealth bombers could destroy enemy air defenses from high altitudes while undetected, and stealthy F-22s and F-35s could attack enemy fighter jets with long-range sensors and air-to-air weapons. Amphibious assault ships could launch F-35Bs, carriers could catapult F-18s into attack missions, and the Pentagon could even launch recently tested medium-range cruise missiles from fixed ground locations. Any of these scenarios are within the realm of the possible as the U.S. weighs its response to Iran's January 7th ballistic missile attacks on U.S. military and coalition forces in Iraq. As we evaluate the situation and our response, we'll take all necessary measures to protect and defend U.S. personnel, partners, and allies in the region, a January 7th DoD statement said. The Iranian-backed group is known to be responsible for many attacks against American forces. While of course not offering specifics, speaking several days ago before these January 7th Iranian missile attacks in Iraq, Defense Secretary Mark Esper was clear about his stance regarding the possibility of Iranian retaliation. "We remain prepared for any contingency with regard to Iran," Esper said, according to a Pentagon report. The January 6th Pentagon report explained it this way. The U.S. message is that the ball is in Iran's court, and the United States encourages Iran to de-escalate the situation, Esper said, adding that the United States is open to discussing issues and having a more normal relationship with Iran. But if Iran chooses to go the other path, we're prepared to deal with that and will respond forcefully, he said. While of course no senior U.S. military official would ever offer specifics or speculate about a possible attack on Iran or even cite general possibilities, there are a number of interesting hypothetical attack options which might offer themselves as topics for a separate analytical discussion. Of course, entertaining any possibilities for discussion purposes would be something completely separate and apart from any actual DoD comment on the possibility. DoD comments along the lines of attack options would naturally not be expected for security reasons. Tomahawks and stealthy bombers or fighters, if used as part of a series of opening attacks upon Iran, would likely lead the way in an assault by destroying or softening Iranian air defenses and other obstacles intended to thwart any U.S. strike. Using range, precision, and air dominance, a massive war campaign against Iran would likely begin by opening up an air corridor by destroying air defenses so that non-stealthy attack planes and helicopters can conduct operations at lower risk of attack. Ship-launched Ospreys could drop Marines, weapons, and networking gear behind enemy lines to conduct high-risk clandestine missions, destroying Iranian supply lines, laser painting targets for air attack platforms, or scouting terrain for an eventual armored vehicle ground attack. U.S. Navy assets would likely seek to destroy Iranian submarines and fast attack boats while coordinating massive carrier-launched air attacks on inland targets. Ultimately, initial strikes could of course prepare the war zone for a massive ground assault led by tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, and even dismounted units prepared to attack urban areas. Such an advance would of course not operate without close air support, likely to include drones, Apache attack helicopters, and low-flying attack planes such as A-10s or even high-speed F-35s capable of ground attack, helicopters, C-130 transport planes, or drones. Carrier or other ship-launched air attacks such as amphib-launched Ospreys or F-35Bs would likely operate from the Persian Gulf. The range and reach of sea-fired weapons and carrier-launched fighter attacks in this scenario would be of great significance in this kind of particular engagement with Iran. Iran regularly operates both mines and small attack boats in the narrow and highly dangerous Strait of Hormuz waterway, an area bordering Iran's coastline that functions as a key passageway between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. Having standoff weapons attack options such as Tomahawk missiles, which can travel up to 900 miles an hour, and carrier-launched fighters would enable the U.S. to project power while being at lower risk of Iranian counterattack by swarming small boats or coastal region sea mines. Even operating at safer standoff ranges will not remove the seriousness of Iranian maritime attack possibilities. Iran not only has 6 frigates, but also more than 30 submarines, including up to 3 Russian-built Kilo-class subs now patrolling the Persian Gulf, according to DoD information. This kind of scenario would likely require the U.S. Navy's most advanced undersea technologies, such as Virginia-class attack submarines, undersea drones, advanced sonar technology, and a host of surface and anti-submarine systems. Broadly speaking, there are several key concepts to bear in mind when considering a possible U.S. attack. Any campaign would likely be multi-domain, meaning it would incorporate air, sea, and possibly land systems in tandem. Cyber attacks and even electromagnetic warfare could also quite possibly figure prominently. Given this, one much-discussed phrase to keep in mind is, no war plan survives first contact with the enemy. Tomahawk attack? Alongside a theoretical discussion of potential war scenarios, a report from Fox News states that 2 senior Pentagon officials said that Tomahawk-armed U.S. assets in the region would be ready to fire if given the order, the Fox report states. From the Fox report, the USS Harry Truman Aircraft Carrier Strike Group has been in the Gulf of Oman along with guided missile destroyers, a guided missile cruiser, and at least 1 submarine. The Navy warships and submarine together had hundreds of Tomahawk cruise missiles with pre-planned targets locked into the missiles.